As always, we want to continue our coverage right now and go out to Fox Weather's Max Gordon, who has been doing such a great job of giving us updates on this wildfire. He is in Maui right now and has the latest. Max.
Hey, good morning to you. Well, right now we're about 13 miles away from the town of Lahaina. That was the town that essentially burned to the ground during one of these wildfires. We're at a roadblock right here. They're letting the residents in at this time, but they are restricting access to some areas. There is still active search and rescue operations going on, an active firefight going on in other areas, and unfortunately, they still are finding victims in this fire. 55 people confirmed dead at this time. Some people were in local hospitals, burn victims, but right now it is in many ways a recovery operation trying to find the folks who are still remain missing. Now, there are multiple fires burning throughout the island of Maui right now. None of them are fully contained, but really the worst of these fires was the one that burned through the town of Lahaina. Now, that fire just went block by block, incinerating homes, businesses, burning all the way to the ocean. It was fueled by very dry conditions as well as strong winds caused in part by Hurricane Dora as it passed a couple of hundred miles south of the Hawaiian Islands. It was a tough go for firefighters, just trying to save what they could. The firefighting force here on Maui isn't very large, and they aren't necessarily used to large-scale fires like this. And unfortunately, this has had deadly consequences. Seeing the town of Lahaina just absolutely devastated. It's been tough on a lot of people here. Take a listen to the state's governor on what he's seen.
And while we have to respect what the chief of police had to say, there will be active recovery over the coming days and weeks of the bones of those who have been lost. So it will take time. To give perspective, it is going to take many years to rebuild Lahaina. When you see the full extent of the destruction of Lahaina, it will shock you. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off, if I may.
Yeah, just absolutely awful images coming out of Lahaina. Now, making matters even more difficult, cell towers and phone lines were burned up in this fire, and communication on the west side of Maui is very difficult right now. A lot of people actually are unable to get in contact with loved ones, with friends, and more than 1,000 people remain missing. Many of these people, it's feared that the worst has come. Back to you.
Yeah, you fear there with that 1,000 missing right now, Max, that number of deaths can really increase as the days go on there and crews continue to do the searches. How is it for people trying to track their loved ones with so much communication? It seems like we have, but you just mentioned there with the power struggles there on the island.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for folks to try to get in contact with their loved ones and their friends. Again, because the cell towers have burned down and because the phone lines have burned down, it's really tough to get phone calls in and out of that section of the island, and some people just simply have not been able to get in contact with those people. So officials have been starting to deploy mobile hotspots, trying to get some sort of communication into that section of the island, and hopefully many of these people will begin to come forward, emerge. There are evacuations still underway. Officials trying to get people out of that area. It's simply not safe to be there. But yeah, there's great fear that some of these people are going to be, they're going to remain missing, and unfortunately they will be added to the death count.
All right, Max Gordon there with Fox Weather. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. You and your crew have been doing a great job. We always appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can continue to follow Max's journey there in Hawaii for the very latest. You can track Fox Weather there. You can download for free at foxweather.com. It's in the Apple Store, Google